The room went quiet in a way that felt heavy, the kind of silence that presses on your chest and makes you aware of every breath you take. A crowded university lecture hall, chalk dust hanging faintly in the air, rows of students half awake and half amused, and at the front of it all stood a professor who believed intelligence had a certain look, a certain accent, a certain background. In that moment, with an impossible equation scrawled across the blackboard like a challenge carved in stone, he had no idea that the young black student standing near the front carried a mind that could bend numbers the way musicians bend sound. What began as a casual act of mockery was about to become a lesson that would echo far beyond the walls of that classroom. Before the story pulls you deeper, take a moment right now. If you believe in kindness, in second chances, and in the quiet power of underestimated people, please like this video, share it with someone who needs encouragement, leave a thoughtful comment, and subscribe to the channel. Your support helps stories like this reach the hearts that need them most. The student's name was Elijah, and to most people in the room, he was just another face in an oversized hoodie, sitting slightly apart from the rest. He had learned early in life how to make himself small, how to blend into corners so attention would slide past him. Growing up in a neighborhood where expectations were set low and futures were often spoken about in the past tense, Elijah discovered numbers as a refuge. While the world around him felt chaotic and loud, mathematics was honest. It followed rules. It rewarded patience. It made sense when so much else did not. Late nights were spent with borrowed textbooks and flickering lamps, solving problems far beyond his grade level, not for praise, but for peace. By the time Elijah earned a scholarship to the university, his love for mathematics had matured into something deeper, almost instinctive. He saw patterns where others saw confusion, connections where others saw walls. But he also knew how people looked at him when he walked into advanced lecture halls. He noticed the brief pauses, the raised eyebrows, the assumptions formed in seconds. So he did what he always did. He stayed quiet. He sat near the back. He let his work speak only when asked. The professor, however, was a man shaped by reputation and pride. Years of accolades had hardened his beliefs about who excelled and who struggled. When he noticed Elijah consistently sitting in on his upper-level class, despite being younger than most students there, irritation flickered beneath his polished exterior. To him, Elijah's presence felt like defiance, like someone stepping out of line. The decision to single him out did not feel cruel in the professor's mind. It felt justified. On that day, the professor wrote an equation so complex it covered nearly half the board, layers of symbols stacked like a towering wall. It was the kind of problem meant to intimidate, designed to expose limits. He gestured toward it with a confident smile, inviting the room to watch closely. His eyes settled on Elijah, and the unspoken message spread through the hall. This would be a lesson, one meant to remind everyone where they belonged. Elijah felt the familiar knot tighten in his stomach as eyes turned toward him. He stood slowly, hands trembling just enough to notice. Memories rose uninvited, of teachers who had doubted him, classmates who had laughed when he answered too quickly, counselors who had suggested more realistic paths. For a moment, fear threatened to win. The equation looked massive, complex, and unforgiving. But as Elijah stepped closer, something shifted. The noise faded. The room blurred. All he could see were the numbers, the relationships between them unfolding in his mind like a map he had been waiting to read. He picked up the chalk, its weight grounding him, and began. Each line flowed into the next with quiet certainty. What looked impossible from a distance became elegant up close, each step revealing the logic hidden beneath the surface. The professor's smile stiffened, then faltered. Murmurs rippled through the students as minutes passed and Elijah kept going, unbroken, unhesitating. There was no rush, no showmanship. Just clarity. As Elijah reached the final line, he paused briefly, checking his work not out of doubt, but respect for the process. Then he stepped back. The solution stood complete, clean, and undeniable. The room erupted, not in laughter this time, but in stunned silence followed by scattered applause that grew louder as understanding spread. The professor stared at the board, at the proof of his mistake written in chalk. What followed was not a dramatic apology or a public confession. It was something quieter, heavier. The professor's shoulders sagged slightly, the weight of his assumptions settling in. For the first time in years, he was forced to confront the narrowness of his own vision. Elijah returned to his seat, heart pounding, unsure how to feel. Triumph mingled with exhaustion. Validation mixed with sadness for all the times he had been overlooked. In the days that followed, the atmosphere shifted. Students approached Elijah, curious and respectful. Study groups formed. Opportunities opened. The professor, to his credit, began to change, inviting Elijah to contribute more, acknowledging his insight with humility that had been absent before. It did not erase the hurt, but it planted something new, something hopeful. Elijah's journey did not suddenly become easy. Prejudice does not vanish overnight, and confidence built in isolation takes time to share. But that moment became a turning point. He stopped shrinking himself. He spoke up. He applied for research programs he once believed were out of reach. Each step forward carried the quiet knowledge that his worth had never depended on anyone else's belief. And now, as this story nears its end, if it has touched your heart even a little, please pause and engage with this video. Like it, share it, and let us know your thoughts. Your interaction helps amplify stories of resilience and reminds others that brilliance can come from anywhere. Before we close, here is a special request. Please comment below with your thoughts on this story, or share a moment when someone underestimated you or someone you know. Your words might inspire another viewer who is struggling in silence. Elijah's story is not just about a math problem solved on a chalkboard. It is about the quiet strength of believing in yourself when the world doubts you, about the courage to stand when you are expected to sit down, and about the profound impact of seeing beyond stereotypes. Long after the chalk was erased and the lecture hall emptied, that lesson remained, written not on a board, but in the hearts of everyone who witnessed it.